Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Dan, and this is our 30th mixed movement online session. Hope everyone is feeling well. I'm feeling pretty good. So before every session, it's always good to kind of have baseline to see how you feel. And you can always visualize that either via traffic light system. For example, green light, you're bursting with energy. You have amber light or yellow, you're so, and then red one, you really want to take it super easy. And then you can also have thumbs up, thumbs in the middle, and thumbs down. You can definitely be somewhere in between. There is no shame in that, okay? So we're gonna begin our session like you usually do, with some stillness, with some body scan. I'm not gonna talk through that because I really want to encourage more introspection there rather than me guiding you and telling you what to feel. So just think about having it as a task of scanning your body, either for any physical sensations or for any sensations that might occur, emotional and so on. Okay, so you're gonna find yourself standing upright. I'm just gonna check if camera is going. That's good. So find yourself standing upright, feet comfortably apart. Give yourself a few moments before you close your eyes. It should be fairly soft posture without creating too much effort. So fairly upright axis, but relaxed, joints stacked, so you're not using much muscular effort. And then when you're ready, just allow yourself to softly close your eyes. And then starting with the body scan. If it feels overwhelming or you just kind of drift away non-stop, just focus on your breath. Beautiful. Before we proceed, keep your eyes closed. And we're going to do 5 times deep long inhalation in through your nose and then long exhalations before we open our eyes. So keeping your eyes still closed if you wish. 5 times. open your eyes, welcome back to the room. And we're going to keep it fairly soft to begin with. We're going to start with articulation of the spine and a little bit of added weight shift with your legs. So we're going to move from side to side. Head or neck is going to be initiation of the movement. And really think about, it's a very subtle motion, and you want to be really aware of the weight of your head, how the head leads the motion, and then also how it affects the feet. So you want to do, sorry about that. So a couple of times, let's say 2 times, 1, 2 or 3 times, rotating in one direction, and then just following the trajectory. I just allow my head to add my body into weight shift, and then I go in a spiral. I kind of look behind myself as I'm lifting up as it heals, gently going back, rotating other direction. So let's say 2, and then on the third one you're going on the other side. So weight shifting on this side, and then again just transitioning the first one. So 1, 2, 3. Very gradual weight shift simultaneously as you spiral with your head. No need to rush, especially if you get dizzy. Looking behind yourself and up. And again, rotating 1, 2, 3. Follow the trajectory, weight shift. You should really feel it through your spine at this stage as well. So keep going. Keep your eyes open. Head is leading the spiral. There's a little bit of weight shift towards that same leg. You can slow it down, you can go faster if you feel like it, up to you. Bigger range of motion if you wish. Really feel that connection between the head all the way down to your spine, to your feet. Let's do one more time each side. Next one. Nice. So I don't know about you, but that felt really nice once you get that connection between your cranium, between your head, all the way down to your pelvis and your feet. The next one, we're going to go into staggered stance. So first, left leg forwards. It doesn't need to be big wide stance. And we're going to play with this sagittal plane, so forward backwards. As you tuck your chin to the chest, from this back leg, your weight is there. You're diving down. You don't need to go deep. You're going to weight shift towards the front leg, lifting the heel of the back leg as you finish in this extended position, and then reversing very slowly. And then you're finishing here, chin tucked into the chest. You can make it as subtle as you need to, especially if you feel some tenderness in your back. Just feeling that connection again in this plane of motion. Just gently rocking forwards, backwards. Noticing your breath. So when you roll back, there's the urge at this end stage to extend your neck. So try to keep your chin tucked into the chest. Keeping your jaw relaxed. Let's do a few more this side. And switch. Same thing other side. So staggered stance. Be free to play with the foot placement, foot distance, if you feel fairly comfortable with this. But again, the focus is being as soft as possible. It shouldn't feel like hard work. Notice how the weight travels from one leg, primarily being on one leg, to other leg. Nice. Hopefully you're getting into the groove. Let's do a few more this side. And the last one. I kind of struggled on this side. And you're going to notice today throughout lots of these exercises, they can serve as a really nice potent initiation of the movement. So almost like an idea that maybe throughout the class or on your own you can then explore. Okay, so if I do that, where can that lead, and so on? Where can it lead your global movement? Okay, so the next one, now we're going to start articulating our arms a little bit more. So we're going to go in the fairly wide stance. For now, it doesn't need to be like super deep or super wide, but fairly stable. We're going to do this sequence where we're going from create one target with one arm, fairly soft, other arm swings slowly. It's not even a swing, it's a more very soft, gradual motion. One side, and then this arm swings back, this arm joins. So let's do this a couple of times. As I'm going down with the arm, I can also transition with my legs, adding a little bit of gradual weight shift. So one arm stays here as a target, creates target, other arm joins. One creates, other one joins, okay? So we're gonna do this each time for 2 to 3 reps from side to side. And then when you join, for example, your left arm to the right one, you're gonna continue, that left arm is gonna continue the circle all the way, so full circle, and then reverse. Same thing other side. 2 to 3 reps, and then the right one joins, creates full circle, and then reverse. Okay, so that's the idea. You can have more or less reps on each side. See how it goes. slower, faster, entirely up to you. Change in tempo. Few more times. Last one. And shake it off. Nice. So now we're gonna stay in the wide stance, going as wide as you're comfortable. We're gonna add a little bit of tension. We're gonna keep it super simple. So we're gonna go in the horse stance or goddess pose, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna place my hands on the edges of the pelvis, but you can keep it anywhere you prefer. And very slowly, we're gonna play with the breath. As I inhale, going down, exhale, going up. We're gonna keep it as simple as that, okay? As you're down, you can also, if you want to pause your breath, you can add a little bit of weight shift for a few seconds from side to side, and exhale going up, okay? As simple as that. Feet approximately 45 degrees, so you're more stable, respecting the hip and the knee, okay? Try not to lean forwards too much as you go down. Let's give it a go. Few more times. And the last one. Beautiful, nice. Okay, so now we started creating a little bit more tension in the legs. Next one is going to require a little bit more single leg balance and partially strengthen the hip. And we're going to play with the reaching game. So we played this before, but now we're going to try to combine both arm and the leg, alternating. And this is also leading us to something that I want to explore towards the end of the class, which is a really nice topic that we were exploring in the recent intensive of Tom Wexler, reaching into the space and extending into the space, all while, so one limb reaching in one direction, other limb reaching in other direction. Okay, so creating opposition, nice opposition, which can help with the balance as well. So you're gonna go with your left leg, lift it off the floor, and you're gonna reach as far as you can forwards. As my left leg, left toe is reaching forwards, my left arm is going to reach as far as it can in the opposite direction. Notice how I'm weight shifting, counterbalancing, tapping the floor. Then I'm going to try to reach the same position with my arm. As I'm reaching with my arm to the same point, that same leg is reaching backwards. And then you're just going to keep alternating. Forwards and backwards as the arm goes forwards. You can go fairly towards the front or maybe slightly offset. It doesn't need to be always linear forwards, backwards. Make sure you have some space. Let's go. I'll let you know when to switch legs or sides. And switch, same thing other side. You can start fairly with a small reach, it doesn't need to go far, and then as you progressively getting more comfortable, go a bit further. And always try to reach towards approximately the same point. You can go slightly to the side as well. Notice your breath. Like a pendulum. Two more times this side. Nice, and come to a stop. Shake it off. As we're still gonna stick to legs, although the next one is gonna be, let's say, less demanding. This one can be quite challenging actually, especially when you start to go further and further. So I'm gonna place my hands again on my edges of my pelvis. My feet fairly close together. The closer they are, the harder it is. So you might struggle with the balance, but for the sake of this drill, let's make it a bit more stable. So maybe slightly wide, so there should be a mini gap. And I like to call this, observe from the side at least, like a nice wave for the legs. You're gonna lift your heels, you're gonna lean back as your knees are going forwards, keeping your hip extended, and then smoothly transition into hips going back, almost like you're scooping, hinging, going back again. So you are rolling your lower back a little bit as well. So knees forwards, hips up. And you want to make it nice and continuous. Knees forwards, hips up. Okay? Try to get into the groove. Slowly. Weight shift forwards, knees forward. Trust your knees. Hinge, hips up. And obviously the further you go with your knees, the harder it will be. Really feeling that nice connection in the legs and in your spine. Although I'm trying to keep my spine fairly neutral, I want to make my legs work harder. Try not to have stops, make it continuous. Although the legs are doing the work, notice how your upper body still helps with the motion and the counterbalance. do 10 more seconds. Last one. Beautiful. Just walk it off. Shake it off a little bit. Perhaps going just briefly into forward fold. Holding onto your elbows. Just pausing there for a few moments. Just feeling the weight of the gravity, shoulders relaxed. And then when you're ready, go all the way down into the squat. You're going to spend some time here in this position, so if you need something underneath your heels, like books or mini like weight plates, just to have a wedge to go deeper, you can use that. You want to find a fairly comfortable position here, fairly stable, stacked, okay? So in order to accommodate that, put something underneath. So we're going to play with a simple pattern that we kind of did this before, you know, reaching the opposite ankle, reaching with the arm, but we're going to just pretend we're holding a sphere and then we're trying to separate that sphere. So in the beginning, so for example, my right hand is going to be facing downwards, it's on the top, left one is facing upwards. I twist, left one up as I twist towards the left side, reaching as high as I can with my left arm, right one stays as low as it can. Lowering down, switching, same thing other side. You may begin. And you can also, it doesn't need to be fairly up. You can also go slightly to the side or back. This top arm extending a little bit further in some new directions. Notice your breath. Perhaps inhaling as you expand, exhaling as you lower down. And as I'm expanding with the arm, notice how it affects the rib cage and the spine as well. Maybe slightly more diagonal. Just a few more times. One. Beautiful, nice. You can sit down on the floor, shake your legs, and they feel a bit tender. So the next one, we're going to go into 90-90, fairly familiar for many people. Just going from side to side, keeping your knees fairly open. Okay. Your legs are pretty much going to do the same pattern with added hip extension as you go from side to side. You're going to use one hand support, one arm support. So as I'm going towards my right side, for example, I place my right hand on the floor. I continue in the same direction with my left arm as I extend my hip, and I do two circles, two big circles in this supported, somehow arched position and hips extended position. Okay, and then switching, same thing other side. Keeping your knees on the floor, but extend your hips. Strong push to the supporting shoulder. Two circles, really feeling this lovely open line of the side of the body. Squeeze your glutes as you reach up. You can do two circles, you can do more, up to you. And again, going back to the idea or potentiation of the movement, think about where this could lead potentially. If you're watching a recording or doing it live, if you feel like it, you can see if it leads to something else perhaps. A few more times each side. Nice. And the last one. Beautiful. Nice. Okay. So the next one will be a little bit more challenging. We're going to go into all four positions. So making sure you have stable base of support. And you want to think about articulating the spine, ideally leading from the head, but even if I lead from the head, you're going to notice the motion sometimes kind of translates into maybe rib cage leading or chest leading and so on. So you're going to do this for time, as it's quite intense. You are free to bend your elbows and to wiggle within that 4 points of contact, but without moving your feet. So make sure your hands are fairly wide and your feet are wide. And you start with gentle articulation. Notice as you articulate the head in one direction in your spine, how it affects the rest of the structure. Maybe staying high here. Or if you feel like it, you can go lower. Obviously progressively getting harder. Notice how it affects arms. If you bend one elbow, what it gives you. Depending on your strength, it can be very big or very small. Let's do 15 more seconds. Last 6. And gradually come to a stop. This one always gets me. Feels super nice after you do it, but while you're doing it, it can feel super challenging, okay? And let's just have a short, brief moment of appreciation of the sunshine coming in this place, because this is London, we don't really see that much sun. So we're gonna go into tabletop position, okay? But what we're gonna do here now, we're gonna focus not that much on the arms, although you wanna keep that nice extension. We're gonna have staggered position of the feet. So you're gonna bend your left knee a bit more, and your right leg is gonna be here. So it's slightly further forwards. How far? You're gonna have to experiment. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna lift my hips up, and then I wanna go, maybe better from this side, I wanna go with my left knee, going as close as I can to the floor, as I really keep the push to my shoulder, feeling the stretch in the front of my shoulder, and stretching my left toe and my left knee trying to get down to the floor. As I go back, I'm trying to bring my right leg as far as I can through, both feet still on the floor. And then get back to the first position. Legs are kind of moving separately and rocking into pike. And again. Strong push to the shoulder as you move your hips back. With the left leg, maybe you can reach the floor, maybe you can't, that's fine. Two more times this side. Nice. Give yourself a few moments. Noticing your breath. And then we're going to switch sides. Same thing other side. You might notice, depending on your toe mobility, for example, my right one should technically be better than my right one. Okay? My left one. And let's go. So you're sliding your left leg now. Back. Conditioning the toe and the knee for a little bit more flexion, your extension. Nice. Let's do 2 more times this side. The last one. Beautiful, nice. We're gonna rest the arms and rest the legs. We're gonna have 2 more main tasks, and the first one should be fairly soft. The positioning for this, depending on the space, it's entirely up to you. You can have your hands underneath your lower back if you want some more freedom of your pelvis and the hips. I do prefer to have my arms on the side, just to give them a bit more support. So we were playing in the supported position, leg play. So think about legs are being free in the air, and you're trying to articulate your legs in any direction. We're gonna do the same thing. Try to have separate articulation, each leg not always following each other, without touching the floor. So your upper body and your arms are on the floor, your pelvis maybe slightly off the floor, and you're starting to draw shapes with your legs, your toes, your ankles, your knees, keeping them off the floor. You can go to the side, one maybe going slightly closer to the floor, but still not touching, only hip is on the floor. Just keeping it nice and smooth. Notice where this could lead, twist, rotation. Going wider apart, closer together. Twenty more seconds. Try to find the weirdest position in your hip angle as you can. Gradually fading out. Beautiful. From here you can go onto your side, and then from the side just find yourself standing upright. For our last task, before we do again a bit of introspection towards the end, body scan, we're gonna go in a wide stance, fairly wide stance, and again it's not a horse stance. It will be super fatiguing, but fairly nice supported stance, fairly comfortable here. So we're gonna play primarily with the upper body, and try to keep your feet grounded. If at some point you feel the need to maybe lift the heel of one leg and pivot, be free to do so. The idea here is to play with oppositions of the arms. So I'm reaching into the space. What is space? So all of this around me. I'm reaching either with my thumb or my hand or my pinky. Notice reaching with a different finger, how it affects the trajectory of the movement. At the same time, the opposite arm is going to try to reach somewhere in the opposite direction, so creating 2 points. Okay, you're going to pause in each point for a second or two, just so there is kind of clear distinction, and then other direction. Okay, notice the undulations of the joints, twisting in, twisting out. Remember, there are so many spaces where you can go. So if the pause is working okay and you have very clear shapes, you can minimize the pause and making it a bit more seamless. But reaching either of the fingers or palm of your hand. Notice how it changes, how the movement feels. And how it affects the rest of the body. Legs, weight shift, spine, pelvis position. Few more. The last one. Beautiful. Gathering ourselves back to the initial position, like we had at the beginning of the class. Again, you always have option closing or opening your eyes. I'm going to close my eyes. Noticing my breath, noticing how my body feels now compared to the beginning of the session. Noticing your baseline now. Is it red light, amber, or green? Is it thumbs up, mid, or down, or anywhere in between? Notice your heartbeat, sweat, breath, and perhaps even overall mood. So what's your mood right now? Before we finish, give yourself a nice big smile. And that will be it. Thank you so much. I was very much in need of relatively softer, but not necessarily always easier practice. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. I know I did. So thank you so much for joining. Take care and see you soon.